some trouble I just might wanna get into. Pull up and so girl, you know I don't do rental. Pull up in a drop top, baby's in the Addy. Hit it from the back, cause I know you got a fatty, yeah. Sipping on some rock, fucking natty. Got me in her mouth, I'm my new favorite candy. Double G where the waist is. She don't mess around with no basic. Roll me up a blunt, gotta face it. Just another weekend getting faded. Gotta stay away from the fake shit. They gon' say they love you when they hating. The rats gon' lead where the snakes is. The demons gon' lead you to Satan. You look like some trouble I just might wanna get into. Pull up and so girl, you know I don't do rental. You look like some trouble I just might wanna get into. Pull up and so girl, you know I don't do rental. Limes and tequila, can't forget the reefer. Always call my phone, but say nothing when I see ya. Limes and tequila, can't forget the reefer. Always call my phone, but say nothing when I see ya.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Excited to have you guys with us. Welcome to the Betting News Network. This is the All Sauce team for Saucy Sundays. How's it going, chat? How we living? Ready to rock and roll? Excited to have you guys with us. I know, Rusty, we're a little bit tardy today. Sorry about it. We've actually been really good about starting on time recently, but today we were a little late. But sorry, we're with you guys now. We'll be with you for the next hour and a bit. Appreciate you guys stopping by right here on the channel. That's Feast Sauce. That's just my name's Sweatpants Jesus. Yeah, excited to have you guys here. Thanks for stopping by to kick off your Sunday. Huge day in the NBA, huge day in the NHL. We got 2 Game 7s we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about too much in the NHL. The Jets looking to continue in the postseason. The Blues looking to upset the Jets. Shaggy wrote about it at bettingnews.com. You guys can go peep the scripts over there. We're going to be talking hoops. We got a huge Game 1 for the Cavaliers and the Pacers boys, and then we got the Rockets taking on the Warriors. Game 7. Down in Houston. How we living? Ready to rock and roll?
This is not hitting.
Hey, shout out to Sovereignty yesterday for obviously winning the Kentucky Derby, but also pooping on the track for cashing that out for Chris. So congratulations to Sovereignty for cashing both tickets. Yeah, indeed. To be fair,
brother.
Yeah. How we doing, boys?
Good, man. Good. 2 playoff games, Game 7, Game 1, start of round 2. It's gonna be a good day. And we got Game 7 on the ice. So today should be a good day.
Hell yeah.
And we already got a bunch of goats in chat. And it might feel weird, boys. Game 1, Game 7, beginning and ending, but like Christopher Nolan taught us in Interstellar, time is a flat circle. Accept it. Get ready. It's gonna be a fun day of ball.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a fun day. We're going to see how one series begins, and we're going to see how another series closes. We saw a close of one last night, which we'll talk about, kind of jump into what happened yesterday, a few things to mention, and then we'll jump straight into today. We got plenty of time. None of these games, the first game tips off at, I think, 5:30 Central, 5 o'clock Central. So we got a lot of time. Gerald. But let's talk about a little bit what happened yesterday, boys. I know a lot of you out there in the chat might have been a little busy yesterday. So maybe you didn't take in the sports as much as everybody else, but there were 2 Game 7s last night, and both of them were absolute bangers. I know this is a basketball show, and we talk basketball, boys, but we all like the hockey. So I thought it would be good to just I don't know if you guys saw this, if you saw the highlights or if you watched it live. I watched this live, which was incredible. But shout out Mikko Rantanen. Yesterday, the Stars were down 2-0 with about 10 minutes left in the third period. Game 7 at home. Mikko Rantanen comes in, scores a goal, gets it back 2-1, scores another goal to tie the game, and then gets another goal. 4 points in the period against his former team. A hat trick, as you can see on the screen. First player in history to record a third period hat trick in Game 7, to net a third Game 7 hat trick against his former team, have 4 points periods in back-to-back games, drop a 4-point Game 7 on his former team, and he totaled 10 points across Games 5 through 7. In one series.
We got sub-bang, boys.
Oh,
we got a sub-bang. Suck it, wheel. Subbed at T1. 3-month streak. Let's fucking go, boys.
Oh, let's go, suck it, wheel. Appreciate you for sucking the wheel with us, I guess. We appreciate
Oh, my
you.
God. Sometimes the usernames are so messy.
Can't bring them up on screen, but vibes are high. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's go. Yeah, it was incredible, dude. It was one of the craziest things I've ever watched yesterday live. So watching this happen, it was unbelievable. He also was really, really cool after the game, talking with him. They were like, those guys are my brothers. Like, I love that team. I'll always have good, feelings for, because he, had to go and shake all their hands after basically sending them home packing. He was like, we were enemies for the series, but they're my brothers in life. So it was nice to move on, and now we can focus on the next series. So, did you guys see any of this? Did you watch the highlights or see it live?
Oh,
I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but Game 7 Miko has to be a thing now, right? Like that's got to be a thing. This dude, insane. Not only Game 7, but he waited till the third period to come alive and send his former team packing. This is what we love in sports, and this is why we continue to bet on narratives. I love to see it.
Yeah, that's Vsauce's wet dream last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. I'm not a big Stars fan, obviously, because of my being a Preds fan, but it was super cool to see that barn. That place was rocking. American Airlines Arena was going bananas. Thank God they have that, because the Mavericks are not anywhere close to it. So
I mean, low key, since Mike Modano days, this team has been rocking and rolling for a few decades. Low key, this fan base loves their Dallas Stars.
It's cool too, because when they score, like they play like some, about this after your experience last night with some heavy metal, they play some pretty hard rock when they score. It's I don't know the song. Some Stars fan in chat probably does, but it's pretty sick. But anyway, some hockey love. Huge Game 7 today. Like I said, Shaggy wrote about it at bettingnews.com with the Jets and the Blues. Maybe the Blues. It's the biggest surprise of the first round. We'll see. We'll see what happens later today. That game's later. Go check it out, bettingnews.com. Back to the hoops, though, boys. It's always the Nuggies, eh? Nuggets got the job done yesterday in dramatic fashion. Absolutely wiped the floor with the Clippers. Don't know what happened to the Clippers in that game. James Harden 0-4 in game 4s with 4 separate teams, which is pretty crazy. But this is what I wanted to bring up on the screen too, as a reminder to you guys. This is what the Clippers traded for Paul George in 2019, which led to also getting Kawhi Leonard. They got SGA, obviously got sent to the Thunder first. Swap of a pick, and a first. I'm sure some of those firsts led to the likes of Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams and, maybe Aaron Wiggins or I don't know, some other guys. But just shambles day yesterday for the Los Angeles Clippers, boys, and it got worse by looking at this as well. Thoughts? Great for the Nuggies, shitty for the Clippers.
Great for the Nuggets, terrible for my James Harden agenda, and terrible for my Kawhi Leonard agenda. Both guys just looked like they didn't show up there in Game 7, but you know who did? The dude that this same team, like we can talk about Shea, but there was another big trade that they made that sent Russell Westbrook for Chris Dunn to the Utah Jazz. And I don't know if you guys saw Russ after the game or even during the game. He's like, send their ass home. They picked the wrong one. And I loved seeing that, and I love it for Russ. And honestly, Nuggets fans everywhere owe that man an apology, because I don't know if you guys are here without him. The way he blew the game open last night was insane to watch. It
was cool to bet on it because, and it's a narrative that, as you said, we love narratives. It was awesome to see. Hey, I said this too, Chewy. I think you're kind of messing around, but he was awesome. He really was. I would say moving forward, he's the X factor for them. If he has kind of dominant stretches like we saw in those last 3 games, which kind of closed out the Clippers, they can beat anybody because you know what you're going to get with Jokic most of the time. If Jamal comes out and plays like he did in certain games in this Clippers series, that 1-2 punch, you kind of know what you're going to get into. But Westbrook's the wild card. Like if he can come out and cause havoc and get on the glass and facilitate and push the pace and create kind of a whole different problem that Jokic and Jamal don't do, that's another factor that teams have to deal with. The Thunder, we'll see what happens. He gets another narrative. He gets to just write another narrative now. He gets to take on yet another former team where he won a lot of MVPs and kind of see what's going to happen in that round. So it's going to be a fun series, boys, regardless of what happens.
It's going to be a really fun series, and I'm super intrigued to see what's going to happen here.
I think
Jokic versus SGA.
You think they're going to get clapped?
I've been high on the OKC all year, but also you guys know I was wrong. I thought the Clippers would come out of this series, so don't listen to me.
I did too, Suk. I was with you. Jokic just kind of proved everybody wrong with the way that he played in that series, and then Russ in Game 7 here. And
well, I texted you guys last night, and I was like, dude, I got 2 units on Clippers money line, But I'm actually pleasantly surprised that this team was able to rise to the occasion. If you peep the scribbles, I said, if the Nuggets are going to make noise, they need to run that basketball at home, run this old team off the court. And their best fast break player is who, boys? Talked to you about this boy like multiple times. Christian Brown. And he had a game. He's fast break scoring wise. He's right up there with the likes of Giannis and SGA. He is an impressive talent in the open floor. And shout out to the coaching staff of Denver. They figured it out.
They did. They really have. David Adelman. He's done a great job over there in on a very short notice and going right into the postseason. I think I myself was one of those guys that was like, you can't fire a coach 3 games left in the season and expect to have any semblance of playoff success. And they've proven me wrong.
Mm-hmm. We got another subject. Shout out Embiid. Twice on Sunday, baby. Sunday.
11 months.
Appreciate you, Embiid. Hey, Embiid, you've been with us longer than Joel Embiid's been on a basketball court. Good job.
Oh, I was going to say you could have carried us to term, but that's funnier.
Hey, thanks. I did all right. Yeah, I mean, as you guys mentioned, we don't really have time to do this now. We'll do this maybe in the offseason when we get closer to the offseason. But, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this Clippers team. We were really high on this team, going into the playoffs, as a lot of people were. They ended up kind of shitting the bed in this round. I think they probably should have gotten the job done earlier in the series. But we'd be interested to see what happens in the offseason with this team. Do you continue with the Harden, Kawhi, Zubac train? Do you trade one of those guys? Do you kind of keep the momentum running, or do you maybe blow it all up and start over again? So we'll be interested to find out what that's going to look like.
What would you guys do?
I think you got to run it back. Kawhi finally got healthy at the end of the year. He's not going into this offseason kind of hurt or recouping from an injury. Yes, maybe you need to make some moves in the offseason, but maybe you don't need to change any major pieces. Zubac had his best year ever. I would definitely credit James Harden towards that. James Harden had a good year too, even though he did sputter here at the end. I think it's a good enough team to run it back with. Maybe you make some changes depth-wise, but I don't know. Shout out Steve Ballmer, though, for flying out all those diehard Clippers fans for the game. I know they had to go there and watch their team get clapped. That's tough, but that, you know what I mean? It was a dope thought and a dope thing that he did.
Yeah, that is a dope move, but you have to blow this team up. It is what it is.
Really?
You kept Kawhi healthy. You protected him. You load managed. You did everything that you needed to do. You also had a James Harden that played in a lot of games. You also had a Norm Powell who played fantastic. You also had a Vita Zubac who played fantastic. I don't think with all of these guys' age and career trajectories that you plot out a course that includes all of them playing better next year. I think you've hit your ceiling. You move your Kawhi, you move your James, you move your Avicii, and you completely reset this franchise. 2 back-to-back 50 games win seasons with Steve Ballmer at the helm. You pivot, you move, you sail away into a new direction. If you tell me that you think you're going to take a different step next year with Kawhi and Harden as your leaders, then I start to question your ability to understand basketball. You're adding miles, adding years, adding games to these guys who have already seen their peak come and go. If you're thinking the zenith is coming over the horizon, you are mistaken, my friend. The Clippers need to blow this shit up.
Wow. Opposite sides of the fence there. I don't know where I stand on it. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle, I guess. I can totally see them wanting to run it back again. But I've seen a lot of things, especially after the game yesterday and losing in that type of fashion where people were like, kind of like what you're saying, Suk. Everything went right for this team, which before this season, it's always kind of been like, oh, Kawhi was hurt, or, oh, PG was hurt, or, oh, they're all hurt together. Or like there was always an excuse, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas this year, Kawhi played great, was healthy, and was healthy at the right time. James Harden has had one of his best statistical seasons in the past 3 or 4 seasons. Looked spry, looked back. Zubac has obviously turned into a bona fide center in the NBA. And you've got all these other role players playing, I would say, a little above their water as well. Norm Powell being the top of the list. And you still can't get the job done. So maybe you're right.
I think we have to look at this too. Like, yes, winning is the goal. Winning a championship is the goal. But also, when you're talking about a franchise, profit is the goal, and things like that really do matter. You just went into a new stadium. You have these big contracts. Is this a time where you can blow it up? No superstars on the roster, and then maybe alienate an already kind of like lackluster fan group in terms of how many fans they have, being the second team in Los Angeles. And now you're going to enter a full rebuild and just possibly be a forgettable team for the next 2 to 3 seasons.
TV,
I feel like that's tough to do.
That's what I feel like is the desperation move. Like, just because you were good for a minute, you've been good for 10 seconds of a minute. Just don't hang on to that. Try to build something else. Maybe take this as an era, the Clippers early era, where maybe we only had 7 winning seasons in 40 years. Don't try to cling on to this. Kawhi is old. James Harden is old. Ivica Zubac is fantastic and in his prime, but he's definitely hitting his peak. Take him as a trade asset. Be smart. Don't look at today like today is the only day. The clock will strike.
But you have to put asses in seats for the next 2 to 3 seasons in a brand new stadium with everything that they've put in the stadium. If they're not putting asses in seats and they don't have people buying their jerseys, what's the point?
They weren't putting asses in seats until they moved to Intuit Dome.
Exactly. Now you're going to alienate that same fan group by not having anything to watch on the court. Like, look at the Wizards. If you enter a rebuild and you go the asset route, you can do that. But you're not going to be competitive, and nobody's going to want to watch you play.
Nobody cares right now. If we're being really honest, nobody cares about the Clippers right now. In essence,
dude, look at the fans that were at the games. Like, I think that there's a significant portion of fans.
Toronto just puts a bus out. That's where you lose me. Toronto puts a bus out to go to Detroit, to go across the border. It's not tickets. It's not a plane. It's not an event. It's literally just a bus you sign up for, and hundreds of fans show up.
Comparing fan bases that are just completely different. Toronto has a huge fan base that isn't established. The Clippers are trying to establish a fan base.
How old are the Clippers? I'm pretty sure the Clippers are an older franchise than the Raptors.
Yeah, but
it's not that. You know that they've always been the secondary team in Los Angeles. They've never been competitive. You were the one saying they don't have a real group of fans that just chalk it away anyways and look to build the championship team.
Yeah, I don't know. You blow it up. I don't think you hang on to this. This isn't the Lob City era. Yeah, no, I agree.
You disagree for sure.
Yeah.
I think
this isn't the Lob City era. You have no mark. You have nothing to hang on to. No highlight reel, no memories, no nothing. You just paid a bunch of dudes a shitload of dollars, and you got 2 back-to-back 50-win seasons that flamed out in the first round. It's not worth it.
It's not. But this is, again, Kawhi hasn't been healthy to finish any of those seasons. This is the first time. They ran into Jokic playing on a different level. I get it.
I don't think you blow up a team.
There's worse situations out there, right? Even the Suns ran it back.
I don't think you blow up a team that just got 4th in the really tough Western Conference. Like, I can see your logic, Sook, and what you're saying. Like, you're asking for, 5th. I could see them maybe running this back for one more season to see if they can build on this a little further to then possibly add a couple pieces to compete for a championship right now. And then next season, when it's over, because then, Kawhi and Harden are a year older. At that point, you can start to really have the discussion on what's going to happen like that. So I agree with your sentiment. I just don't think the timing is right. I think V is a little more accurate with the timing aspect of this, of like, they're right in the middle of trying to generate a fan base and get them excited about a new era in Los Angeles that's not the Lakers. And they just invested billions of dollars in this new arena. You're not going to like ship off the 2 biggest superstars on the team at that particular moment.
I agree, though. It's a second-round team at best. Like, I agree with that sentiment completely. We've seen that. They're not better than a second-round team.
I feel like that they're trying to build a culture, and when you're trying to build a culture, you can't just press the reset button. That's going to put it back.
You want your culture built by James Harden and Kawhi Leonard? That's who you want to build your culture?
They can build the foundation for the culture, and then you bring in younger players, you draft then players that can then build you.
I think Jack wants us to move on with it. I don't think Jack cares about the Clippers.
I started the
That's
segment
my
by
point.
saying we don't have.
Nobody cares about the Clippers. You're gonna hang on to these winning seasons for no reason.
Yeah, but
Let's talk about the ball today. I started the segment by saying we don't have time to do this. We can do it near the offseason. And then Suk decided to get on a rant about the Clippers, which I wasn't expecting today. You felt very passionately about that, and I wasn't expecting that to come out of you.
I said I love this team. I thought they would win this series. When you don't win this series against a franchise that's limping, a team that's not at their full strength, a Jokic that's just frustrated, how are you going to do better next year? I don't see it. The money, I know you guys are saying like, oh, we'll add this, we'll add that. There's a hard cap in the NBA. They're a second apron team next year. They can't do shit. They can't even sign a mid-level exception. They can't even trade a first-round pick. How are you going to improve when you have no maneuverability? But that's it.
Playoff teams make money. That's my point. That's my point. They were 3 games within third place of third in the Western Conference, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But let's get to today because we have real playoff games instead of talking about a Clippers team stuck in perjury regardless of what they do.
And they're in Cabo, so it don't matter. They'll be fine.
James Harden caught a flight last night.
Oh, for sure. They're already they're on the beach right now, sipping Mai Tais and having a grand old time in the off season. No, Gerald, I would never. All right.
Maybe just you, Gerald.
No, I think Gerald and I would get along fine too.
Would,
Cavaliers, Pacers. I think we really would. It would be nice. It's going to be nice when it happens. Cavs, Pacers, game 1, first game. Second game, Rockets, Warriors, game 7. We almost only had one game to talk about today, but chat, drop a dub because we got 2. We got 2, thank God. It's going to be a fun one to finish off the show with. But let's start off with this beginning of this series, boys. The Cavaliers starting it off on the number 1 seed, looking to kind of continue their possible buzz soreness. But the Pacers got other plans. What are we looking at game 1?
All right, boys, let's kick it off. 2 really good games. First, we got the Pacers and the Cavaliers. 8.5 point spread here, over under 229.5. Boys, the Pacers are rolling into this one. We saw that last game that they played, and the Cavs have been off for a few days. Let's start here. So, do you think rust is going to play a factor at all on this Cavaliers team coming into this game 1?
That's tough, man. This series is like, correct me if I'm wrong here, but our sample sizes are all off because a lot of starters were in and out of these matchups. So we don't really have a full picture or data set to kind of extrapolate what we want to gamble on and what we want to take. So this game definitely does stress me out. I am a big Pacers guy. I do think they pull it out, but I also do think stuff like this, like a Cavs minus 10.5. When you're a team that was coasting through the first 82 games of the season, and you were one of the best teams all year, I'm sure a lot of people are very angry that people like me are picking the Pacers. So I could definitely see the Cavs coming in and, like SPJ loves to say, belt to ass. So I don't know. I fully lapped this game. I went through everything, and legit, I could not find anything that I was fully confident on. This seems like a very interesting series of who can exert their will and make the game play at their pace.
This is definitely a good reminder to, as you guys are betting the playoffs for the rest of the series, like you have to kind of throw out what happened for these teams in their last series at this point. This is a new series, new matchups, new situations. So just remember that when you jump into these new series, you can't just go, well, he hit this line in the last 5 or 6 games. Like that was a completely different situation. You can look at maybe how they did against that team previously when they played this year. They played twice this season, these 2 teams, both pretty close matchups when they played in the regular season. But I have a bet that I like from a prop perspective. The first one, I kind of like the superstars, but I figure we can spend some time kind of gabbing about that a little bit, but I actually have money on this one. So I went back to Ty Jerome, boys. I took Ty Jerome over 16.5 points and assists. As we know, he's going to play probably 25 minutes plus. He's going to come off the bench. I think this line is just a little bit too low, though. 16.5 feels very comfortable. Also, I'm pretty sure Darius Garland's going to play, but he is still game time with that sprained toe. I think he's probably going to play. But if he doesn't, then this line will be a lot easier than it is on the screen. But as you can see, it's hitting, as I was just saying, you got to kind of ignore what he's done over the last game. But then their one matchup this season, he had 24 points and 6 assists. Pacers do kind of struggle with guarding guards sometimes. And he's kind of sometimes the forgotten. You got to focus on Garland. You got to focus on D-Mitch. So I think that Jerome's in a really nice spot. He could hit this with just points. So I love the 16.5 PA, just to kind of get the vibes moving in this game. I wrote down a lot of other things, so maybe we can kind of just talk about that. Garland being one of them. The PA, 23.5 was the line that I liked for Darius Garland. But again, I don't know how he's going to look, how healthy he's going to be after not playing a little bit of that last part of the series. Maybe the toe is a little bit more of a problem. But he's had great success against this Pacers team. He was awesome to start out that series. Kadar. And then Halliburton. So what do you guys think?
Do we think that toe was a serious issue? Or do we think that was a case of they really didn't need him against Miami?
I mean, he's still in the injury report with a sprained toe. And if you've ever fucked up your toe, it really sucks.
Like that's the injury designation they give Al when he's resting. Sprained toe. No, I'm being dead ass. Like that makes me suspect on it. Not that he's not. He could be nursing a very serious injury. I'm just thinking that like they didn't need him against Miami. They looked good. They went 4-0. They were beating them by like 20, 30 points every game. And again, the injury designation may not change up until game time just because why give anybody any kind of an advantage? I like both lines, though. I think Gerald's got a point with his threes. He's taken a lot in the 2 games he played against Miami, 9 and 8 attempts, I believe. He only made 2 in that second game. But again, that might be the game where he messed up his toe a little bit. So that might be also why he shot a little bit worse instead of leaving that game. But he was 5 of 9 in that first matchup. And I do think that he could have another big game, too, in his first game coming back into the postseason.
100%. I also was looking at, again, this kind of to go the superstar angle. Donovan Mitchell has had really great games against the Pacers, one this season, and then previously against them in his career. He had a 30-piece when they played last game. Didn't really have to be Superman against the Heat. Like, he just kind of was – they were on cruise control most of those games. So there wasn't really anything you can pull away from what he did in that series. But, I feel like that this is – I think this could be a good spot for him too. Chad, again, if you're in the mid-sentiment, I kind of think that the Garland thing could be a problem a little bit more, and they're going to maybe be a little more cautious with that to start the series just to make sure he doesn't get banged up again and has to deal with it for further. So maybe he sits. And then if that is the case, I mean, D-Mitch is in a really good spot. His points is 27.5, kind of telling you that they think he's going to have a bigger game and a bigger offensive role in this series and then game 1 at home. So I could see the Spider coming out and wanting to get rolling early, kind of set the tone and set the tempo in this series, not let the Pacers kind of establish and let him kind of be like, no, this is my team. We're the 1 seed. Like, y'all are going to come and play with us type of situation. I could see him taking a lot of shots early and kind of getting rolling. Getting to the line too. And also making Halliburton guard. I know that I would assume that Naismith or Nemby will guard. Yeah, will guard Mitchell. I would think that would be the way they would match up. But we'll obviously find out. So
speaking of Nembhard, look at this in the series against the Bucks. What stands out here? The one game he didn't hit. What did the Pacers also do? Lose. Because if you're not going to get any kind of, from production from a guy who's playing 35 minutes and as one of your lead guards, you're not going to have a good time. And we've talked about this all season. So maybe you can talk about this a little more. The Cavs' kryptonite is their backcourt defensively, right?
It's kind of what SPJ said. Like, we talked about this a little bit before last week that Kyle Anderson talked about this as well in the presser, that with Garland out, you're playing a much bigger lineup. You have an opportunity to play much better defense. I feel like for what reason, the reasons you're saying, V, it's almost a blessing in disguise. I don't like this matchup, but I feel very worried to give my opinions on this series because I feel like my opinions on the Pacers is way too high. I just think that this Cavaliers team is not that good. But I had the same thoughts about that Nuggets team, and I proved to be wrong. So this series is stressing me out.
Well, I mean, that series still went 7 games.
And that's you kind of hanging on to one opinion. Like, that was your most recent one. You've also been right about other series. You know what I mean? Like, you were right about the Knicks the other night and them handling business, getting it done in 6, right? The Celtics about to ass 5 games. Sorry, no please. What do we think about the scoring in this series? Because I think that's going to be interesting to me. We've been burned by some low-scoring games in the first round.
Okay, now, that I can talk on, V. I do think the Pacers do ramping up the pace on the road they're the pace car. That's their namesake, right? They're the last. I had the circle. 7 of their last 8 games on the road resulted in the over in the game. This team likes to ramping up the pace because, like we saw with Andrew Nembhard is not a knockdown shooter. Neither are guys like Neesmith. These are guys that play on vibes, play on speed, play on pace, motion, and comfortability. So on the road without their shooters, they like to make that pace so high that their shooters do end up open on accident. So I do like the over in that one. I can speak to that.
I think that Naismith is in a good spot on that kind of note. He was really good to kind of finish off the hey John. How about Rui threes? Thanks, John. Chat loves you, John.
John, I can't believe you just made it back now, John. That was like 3 days ago. Everybody was losing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at Neesmith. It's kind of like what you're talking about. He was really good to finish off that Bucks series. Had some good games against the Cavaliers earlier this season too. His points was enticing to me, 12.5. The PRA, if you want to go that route, just because he's a good rebounder and is going to be out there. Hitting 5. Yeah, I feel like that's a nice spot. 18.5. If you think that he's going to keep the vibes are going to continue, like you were just talking about. So I like that. Don't have any bets on it specifically, but I do think it's a good line. And then we got to talk about Halliwagon. I mean, Halliburton was fantastic to finish off that Bucks series. His RA was the line that kind of stood out to me the most, 14.5. Again, you can't look at what he did against the Bucks really, but you can take some of that into account. But he smacked his RA against the Cavaliers. He hit it in the most recent matchup. Didn't hit it one before, but against them previously in his career last season and beyond, has had great success against this team, facilitating and rebounding. He had 10 assists and 8 boards against them when they played their last game, which was 114-112 win for the Pacers at home. So I can see Halliburton getting back into it. His PRA could be nice too, as he's showing right there, 23 points as well in that game. What is the Cavaliers' one thing that they struggle with? We talked about it a bunch. It's guarding guards. And he's on a little bit of a tear right now. I think he's kind of past his dad stuff, got through the first round. Now he's ready to focus on this next team. So what do you guys think about Halliburton?
I think it's a good spot. I think that's one thing that's interesting to me is the over at 229.5, right? Books are telling us that this is going to be a high scoring game in the postseason. I think the fact that this is the second round too is going to allow for teams to get a little bit more comfortable. You know what I mean? A little bit of the nerves are gone. You've won one series. And I think the whistle, we might get it a little bit back the other way, right? Like I know the playoffs are a little bit harder, but we saw the first round. They really swallowed their whistles in most of those games across the entirety of the NBA. I think in this one, we're going to see a little bit more of people getting to the line. We see some high-scoring guards and guys like Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and even Halliburton when he wants to. Both teams rank in the top 7 of pace, and I think that speaks to a lot more of how Kenny Atkinson has coached this team. Last year, we saw JB Bickerstaff with this team and the way he was defensive-minded, and he built that into the scheming of this team. This year's Cavaliers defense is still good, but it's good because of guys like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley playing elite level defense. It's not built into the scheme. The scheme now is geared towards offense, and that's why their offense is looking like that of the Pacers last year. I think this is going to be a very high-scoring game between two teams. Like, I really think so. The reason you were high on the Pacers is because they want to get back to that Eastern Conference Finals. It didn't go the way they wanted last year. This is the same team built the same way with a veteran head coach, and I think that it's not like unfounded. Kenny Atkinson could have a game or two where he gets out-coached by Rick Carlisle in this position, right? And sure. I think it's going to be a series. I like Halliburton. I like Naismith, but I think Nembhard is really, really on my mind. His level of play, I think we're going to start to talk about him like a playoff riser. He is so much better when the postseason starts to roll around, and they are going to need him against the likes of Donovan Mitchell. You need him out there playing defensively and giving you those defensive minutes and points and like assists in transition.
Well, just to flip it on the other side, then the X factor on the Cavalier side, if it's Nemby on the Pacer side, is SPJ. Don't you think it's probably Mobley? Like Evan Mobley likely decides if the Cavaliers win or lose this series. If he can play better than Pascal Siakam, that matchup is key.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I I'm with you a little bit with kind of how we started talking about this. Like, there's a lot of stats and stuff that you can kind of look at and how guys have done or something like that. But I kind of want to just see how game one plays out first before I really like start diving a little deeper, just because it's the beginning of the series. Cavs have been sitting for a minute. Pacers are coming off, and I agree with Gerald, even though I don't know, he might be trolling a tiny bit, that the Bucks made the Pacers look a lot better than they actually are. You've been high on this team, and they have been one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference for the back half of the season. But the Bucks are really bad defensively, and they were just poor most of that series in general. So I'm going to be interested to see just how these teams feel each other out first before I really make a hardcore assessment, because Mobley, it doesn't really have great success necessarily against the Pacers. Like, could he come out and be good in this series? Yes. Could he come out and be good in this game? Yes. But we haven't seen it so much. So
are these all games with Pascal V? Sorry, SPJ.
Let me take a look.
I think so. I would assume that they were against Siakam. Siakam didn't miss a lot of time this year, so
these three.
Does.
Yeah.
What about look? Like, we just brought him up defensively. What about on the offensive side? The PRA, Siakam, he's also a proven playoff player. He's gotten deep into the playoffs. He helped lead this team to an Eastern Conference Finals last year.
A lot of unders for Pascal. I have been betting him. His PRA does like to go under. Also, against very, very, very good rebounding teams, he kind of gets a little timid and he doesn't hit the glass as hard, kind of accepts that he's not going to get that many rebounds. So I'm very concerned about Siakam's stats from a betting perspective in this series, though I do think that he will exert his will and the Beyblade will have his say. I just think that for me personally, some of his lines seem a little stressful because this is a dude that could have like a RA line of like 8.5, and he will finish with like 5 rebounds and 3 assists, and you'll get hooked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. All right, what do we want to do? Do we want to do like a SGP for both games? Do we want to do kind of picking 3 each and then maybe putting them together, or we could do 3 each and have them do it individually? Obviously, what are you guys thinking?
Should
2
we
games,
do
SGPs,
2 3-leggers?
That sounds
Sure.
good.
That sounds nice. Okay. So where would you like to start then? I think we got to do something with a guard from the Cavs. So whether it be Mitchell, I don't think I want to bet on Garland just because of his health.
What do you think about your play with Jerome and just take the PRA?
I like that too, and get down with that if he's cool with that.
I am really. I think he's gonna have. He was our 6th man.
In the last 8 games, he averages 26 PRA, and the line is 21.
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable with that.
This could be fun too, like a par 3.
Ooh,
it's a fun little activity. Should we do that?
1.1 assist. I'm down.
A little challenge.
Yeah, let's do it.
So 1 point, 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 1 3-point prop.
Mm-hmm.
So for Jerome, do we want to take points then, 13.5, or do we want to take points for like Mitchell or somebody else?
I think points for Jerome.
Okay.
Sook.
I don't know. It worries me, man. SPJ is the one that keeps telling us to be wary of these role players. At 13.5 seems very low, but like it's a playoff game.
He's a role player though that's going to still play. Like as Kenny Atkinson said last series, I think this is just going to be true the rest of the playoffs. Like they have a 10-man rotation. That's not going to change. And him and Hunter are going to play.
Mobley points are okay, Owen.
Okay, let's start with Ty then, because I did like the PRA, so 13.5 points.
Okay,
let's start
All
that.
Right.
Should we do rebounds for Halliburton or for Mitchell? Both of them have great rebounding numbers against these teams. Mitchell at 4.5 feels very comfortable. Halliwagon at 4.5 feels comfortable too.
I was not expecting that, but if the numbers say it, I could get down with that.
The numbers say.
Let's go with Mitchell.
Okay. 4.5 boards.
Now assists.
Okay.
Do we ride the chalk with Halliwagon, or do we find somebody that can get us 2 assists in what should be a fast-paced, high-scoring game?
Would it be weird if we did Hallie rebounds and then Mitch assists?
Not at all.
No.
The numbers say it, right, for Hallie?
The only thing that concerns me a tiny bit about Mitchell's assist is that I guess if Garland doesn't play, he'll have the ball even more. So
yeah, that's my thinking, is that he becomes their true point then.
The other thing too is that if Garland does play, he has fantastic assist numbers against the Pacers. He's 5.5 smacks with ease. But again, I don't know how healthy he's going to be and if he's even going to play. So
I like that. Also, just Mitch and Halliburton. Maybe I think it's going to be good.
I also, just to throw a wrench in here, McConnell's 4 assists looks nice too, and he's another guy that will play.
Good history as well.
Mm-hmm. So do we want to go Halliburton 10 then, assists, and Mitchell 5 boards, or flip it the other way around?
I thought we flipped it the other way around, right? Take Mitchell's assists and Halliburton's rebound.
I kind of like it, the assist with Halliburton and Mitchell.
See, when I suggested it, it sounded smart, but then when V repeated it, I didn't like it anymore.
There you go. We have our answer. Slick hates it when I tail his plays. Whatever.
No, it's fine. It says why we talk it out with you guys.
All right, but yeah, let's do that. Halliburton assists, D. Mitch rebounds.
Yeah.
Halliburton 10 assists, Mitchell 5 rebounds, Jerome 14 points, and now we need somebody to hit some threes. McConnell rebounds.
Miles Turner, hear me out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy.
2 threes.
Man. I hate betting on the guy for 2 threes, and we have to wait for old Miles to shoot the ball from deep. I like it, though. He's got to stretch out their defense. Wait, whoa. Yeah, John, 10 fours.
Who's hitting 2 threes, John?
You guys said you liked Garland.
Yeah, if you
Mobley 2 threes.
I didn't want to be the one to suggest it, but Owen said it in chat.
Well, he's also a Cavs fan, so you got to take it with a grain of salt.
He's also said Evan Mobley for every single prop we've talked about.
He does think he's going to have a masterclass today. So.
Oh my God.
Siakam threes?
Oh, Siakam 1 or 2 for his threes.
That's going to be a sweat.
2 is plus 140.
Like, that's going to be a sweat.
That could be a lot.
Hardcore.
What about Obi Toppin?
Bro.
His line is 1. I'm pretty sure.
I really like Halliburton's RA at 14.5. I like that.
That's nice. He's hitting 3 now.
Sure.
This I don't know.
Same. I don't know. I would be worried the rotation gets messy and weird.
What about Naismith for 2?
That's even sweatier.
Yes,
You're just trying to perspire today, aren't you?
I'm just trying to sweat out. Do we have a 3+ line that we like? Because the only guys that I could think of are like Strus, who I would trust, Donovan Mitchell.
Just to roll with the Mobley wagon from that Owen's talking about. He did hit it in the 3 games against the Heat to finish out the series, the 2+. He also had 3 the last time he played against the Pacers.
I mean, if that's the one you want to sweat out, I'm down. Don't get me wrong. I'm always down. Is DeAndre Hunter's line also 1.5? So, what do you think about his minutes in this series?
I don't know why you trade for a guy and don't use him.
Like, he hit this in 3 of the 4 against the Heat. The only one he didn't was the first game. I think he's hit this against the Pacers since joining this team as well. What do you guys think?
Scares me. SPJ?
I like it.
Definitely scary.
I think him and Jerome are definitely going to play and are going to have to be. And you get the benefit of him and Jerome. If this game does turn into a bit of a blowout, then they'll play more. So I like the 2. He should hit 2 threes.
Let's do Hunter then.
All right.
His volume will be a little bit. Watch Evan Mobley hit 2 in the first quarter. All right. When that happens, Owen, you can come talk your shit tomorrow. Hunter for 2 threes, minus 162.
At least it's still a Cavalier.
Yeah. I mean, we could take Garland too, but I feel like we're all kind of hesitant on that one for some reason. The over 2.5, you know?
Yeah, like I said, it's a feel out game. It's game one. I'd rather be like 2 is on the table for the entire game. Somebody goes 0 for 4, 3 all of a sudden becomes out of reach a little bit. You know what I mean?
So I'm seeing I got Jerome for 14 points, Mobley for 5 rebounds, Halliburton 10 assists, Hunter for 2 threes, plus 739.
I like it.
I love that. Yeah. If
So
this
good
hits,
night.
I'll send you a coffee mug for the idea.
Let's go.
I don't have it with me right now. I'd show it to you.
I have it.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. See, asking you shall receive.
See. Well, I think you or the all sauce one. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, it's a nice idea, and we'll do it for the second game too. So Jerome points, 14 points. Mitchell 5 boards, Halliburton 10 assists, and Hunter 2 threes. Just do your job, gents. Yeah, the par 3. All right.
This is like Chef's parlay. Well, you remember the
parlay,
assists, rebounds, lay?
Same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this game before we move past? Do you guys think the Cavs get the job done game 1, or do we think that this turns into a little bit of a sweat?
I think I'm rolling with the 8.5 for the Pacers in game 1. I think 8.5 points is a lot of points, and maybe not rust, but a lot of days off sometimes can not exactly work out in your favor.
The Cavaliers haven't played a serious basketball game in almost 3 weeks, and I think that matters.
Yeah,
100%.
Everybody wants to talk about how they blew out Miami, but like Miami didn't even belong in the playoffs.
I like the over, like you guys were talking about. I could see there being 230, 235 points in this game. 229.5 is a total we have not seen in a hot minute in the playoffs. So it'd be nice to see one maybe go over. We get some points, we get some prop smacking. It'd be nice.
That's
so
fucking hope, man.
Let's hope, especially after what we've seen in the last few games. Cool. All right, chat. There you go. Let's move on. Let's talk about the second game. We go from a game 1 to the beginning to the game 7, the end. The curtain is closing for one of these teams this season. We might see Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry go home tonight, which is crazy. After the Houston Rockets got the job done in game 6, boys. 2.5-point favorites. Are the Rockets back at home? V, take it away.
All right, boys. Big game. Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, Draymond Green, all at risk of once again blowing a 3-1 lead. Boys, we got a 2.5-point spread here towards the Rockets. Over under set at 205.5. Steph has kind of struggled. What are we looking at in this game? Did they do a good job of keeping them under control, or does he finally get the best of them in this game 7 scenario?
Man,
I don't know, boys. I watched that last game. I thought the Warriors would come out very differently. The Rockets very much impressed me. And I know a lot of people on the timeline are talking about Steph's response, whatever happened. But truly, we've been high on the Rockets all year, but I thought they would lose this series. That last game showed to me that they're ready to take that step. And maybe this Warriors team isn't good enough, but I could be proved wrong. I do think the Rockets have way too many weapons. We've talked about this so many times. Fred VanVleet has become so good in this series that even if he's bad tonight, he'll affect their game plan. They're going to be launching themselves over screens. They're going to be in desperation mode against Freddie. So I think this is a very interesting game. I have no official plays, but I'm super, super excited to build this parlay with you guys because this series has been fantastic.
No, I 100% agree with you, man. Watching that last game kind of changed my total opinion of this team moving forward. Even if they lose, I feel like that they are definitely primed for a big run for the next 4 or 5 seasons with the core that they have built. But just to talk about the game individually, though, I mean, hard to ignore Freddie again, man. His PRA is 20.5, smacked in 4 straight games. First game, he obviously didn't quite get there with his points. He smacked the PRA with just the points the last 3. We talked about it before the last game. Was he going to regress back a little bit to the Fred we've seen previously, or was he going to continue to be the Fred we saw the 2 games prior and was more of the same? And they needed it, and I think that they are going to get it again. I don't see it stopping. They need his offense. I am with you, though. It's tough to not want to bet Steph after he still had a good game last game, even though they lost. I liked his PRA. That was the one I had written down at 37.5. I also like his threes. He took 13 threes. I think he took 13. He might have taken more. He took a lot of threes last game. because you guys know when they get to the point where their offense sometimes becomes a tiny bit stagnant, it does turn into him just kind of getting a step back and knocking down some threes.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his 4.5 threes in a desperate, a good win or go home situation. And then Jimmy almost had a triple double last game. His PRA looks good too. His RA looks enticing as well. Both of these guys are not going to go down not swinging. So those are some of the ones that I had circled. We kind of talked. You kind of touched on a few of those things. I'm sure you guys probably saw those the same way. I want to bet Steph. I haven't figured out which button I want to press yet, but I want to bet Steph. I don't know if I want to do the threes or the PRA. What do you guys think?
I think I like the PRA. I like the RA as well. Looking at his game 7 stats, that's what's intriguing to me. Yes, this is a guy that 2 years ago set the record for game 7 scoring when he put up 50 points against the Sacramento Kings in a win. And he is a guy that time and time again shows up in these big situations. But the thing that stays consistent is his 6.4 rebounds per game and 7 assists per game in these elimination games. He's out there for almost 41 and a half minutes per game. He's looking to do everything he can on the court, and that's also heavily involving his teammates, because if his shot's not dropping, if the defense is kind of zoning in on him, he's always done a good job of involving his teammates. And in my opinion, it's one of the underrated parts of his game. In the last 3 games, he hasn't hit this line. It's been tough sailing for this Rockets team, for this Warriors team, because of how good this Rockets defense is. But I do think he's going to need to find some spots and get out in transition. But I think I'm convincing myself the more I talk about it, PRA over the RA, just because if he doesn't at least put up 25 to 30 points tonight, what are they really going to do? They're going to get blown out, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. In this series, if you look, he scored 29 last game, like I said, 7 boards. What did he have? 2 assists?
2 assists.
And like I mentioned, he took 16 threes in their last game, made 6 of them. Yeah. All right, Embiid brought it up. I'll bring it up again. I'm ready to go down with the ship once again, boys. The Jalen Green ship. Now, I feel like maybe the PRA is a little bit better of a move than the points. Like I've been just throwing away or burning the money on it. But game 7, I think there was a turn of his, we talked about this a little bit, that you have the situation last game where they didn't sit him, even though he wasn't really scoring. He was out there playing good defense. He was rebounding. His RA is hitting 5 of the 6 games of this series, by the way. So he's been hitting the glass. He's been facilitating. Ime left him on the floor even when Adams came in and they played that big lineup, because Brooks was a little bit of foul trouble. But I think he was also testing Green in that situation to see kind of what he was going to do and how he was going to respond. And he passed the test. So I like the PRA. I like the points too. Obviously, he's a guy who can score 20 points with his eyes closed. So the 15.5 could be absolutely free, but he hasn't been doing it this series. So I don't know if it's a great parlay piece or anything like that, but yeah. And then Sengun, his RA, like Chat just said, has been printing. It's 16.5 for plus money. He's especially at home with this Rockets team. You know this, so they're not a great shooting team regardless, but at home they're a little bit better. And in this series, Sengun has been spectacular. Every aspect of it. He's been leading the entire team in all statistical categories, points. He's been doing Jokic type stuff, which is why he's called Baby Jokic.
Weirdly with the steals too, right? It's like they're so similar.
It's literally the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So we're seeing the rise of this guy turn into, the star player that we all kind of feel that he is already. But 14-6 last game. The last game they had. At home, he had 9 and 9 in the RA department, almost had a triple double. I like his RA again. Like I said, it's 16.5 for some plus money, hitting back-to-back games.
I do like this, Owen. I was going to bring this up next.
I bet, yeah.
I think Moses has been fantastic. Also, Moses on the road, at home, I think Moses has like a block in 10 straight games at home. He's got some like weird stat lines he never misses. I'm of the mind of Moses needs to play more. I do think that what he gives you defensively and as a corner knockdown shooter is very, very beneficial for you as this team, because Podziemski just like disappears sometimes. When his 3 disappears, he disappears as a player. So, Owen, I do like Moody. The 2 threes minus 115. I may or may not have that played straight.
I like his PRA too. Willing rebounder. He's out there to, he plays good defense. He'll get some assists probably. Do you guys think that whatever Steve Kerr said at the end about that Jonathan Kuminga might get some playing time in this game, you guys buying that? Or do you think that Kuminga is just going to continue to be a non-factor in this game?
I actually hated his press conferences. I didn't like his demeanor. I didn't like the things he was saying. I know what he said about Kuminga, but it's just like this guy's just saying things that's very much stressing me out. I didn't like his response, not just to the Kuminga thing, but they were like, "Oh, what's going to happen now when you enter this game 7?" And he goes, "Well, I can tell you one thing, my guys will be excited." What kind of sentence is that? Like, your guys will be excited? Saying your team will be ready for a game as a coach is not a statement. Your team has to be ready. That's your job, my guy. So I don't understand.
Well, they didn't look very ready in game 6 either. So
yeah.
We haven't really talked about this guy, and maybe it's not really a betting thing that you can bet on Steven Adams, but the way that Ime deployed Steven Adams last game and the way that they had zero answer for that double big lineup, I don't see Ime going away from that. I think he's going to probably lean on that again at certain stretches of this game, maybe for long stretches of this game, because the Warriors do not have an answer for it. They really don't. They don't have an answer for it offensively on how to attack it, and they don't have an answer for it defensively on how to take care of it on the defensive end. So
isn't it the most frustrating offensively though, SPJ, when you watch the game, they run the double big. When the Warriors are on offense, Curry is standing or taking screens from A-man, and then it just seems like the other half of the court is pretty stagnant, waiting for Curry to go through his actions, and it just seems like the Warriors aren't doing enough.
I think it's just the sheer. I know it sounds kind of chalky, or like not, like you say, with they're tall, they're big, they're two very big men. Adams obviously a little bigger than Sengun, but Sengun is no slouch himself. And then you throw Jabari Smith in the mix in there too. And Amon's also big too. Those are four, and sometimes all four of those guys are on the floor together at the same time. That is a ginormous lineup, and the biggest player on the Warriors is Quentin Post, and he's a 7-foot 3-point shooter. So I think that's going to be something that Ime is going to do again. Now, whether the Warriors are going to be able to take advantage of it, and maybe they figured out how to unlock that a little bit, we'll see. But I mean, what we saw last game, they didn't have an answer for it, and they just rode it. And I don't see that going away in game 7.
I kind of agree. Another guy that just burned us, Amen Thompson. I think he's gonna have to also play again. Like, he's gonna have to play really well tonight at home in front of his home fans. Last game, he only had 3 potential assists, and I think that's just speaks to how the offense looked. And when Freddie's kind of taken over back as that point guard situation, the assists are going to go away from Amen. But what worked last game for them, and it's worked in the last 3 now for them, is Amen attacking offensively, because they've been putting Steph on him defensively because he's not putting pressure on the team offensively, right? Because of that, they allow Steph to just sit on him and sit as like a floater who's floating around and helping when he needs to, but can kind of just hide him on the defensive side. If you are going to do that and Amon's not going to go at him, that's going to be a problem, right? You have to go at the weakest link. We see that time and time again in today's NBA. Teams are not so much sometimes scheming to beat you with their offensive scheme if they can just attack one player again and again and again. And I think that's what they've done over the last few games, and why we've seen Amon's scoring kind of surge. He didn't shoot the best in the last one, but he did. Like, his volume is way up, and that's promising to me. 25.5 is a PRA number now, but 14.5 points, not bad either.
He took 13 shots. He's taken 12-plus shots in 4 straight games, exactly what you're talking about. It's like the whole Jaden McDaniels attacking Luka thing. It's like you take advantage of the defensive matchup of the guy that you're worried about offensively, and you make them pay for that. And it seems like that Amon is almost exactly the same strategy, and they're taking advantage of it. He went 5 of 13 last game, so he didn't get over the PRA for us, which we all know ended up selling our parlay. But I like it too, dude. He's also gone to the line a lot the last 3 games. He's not a spectacular free throw shooter, but 5, 9, and 6 attempts in the last 3 games is what you want to see from a guy that's going to be on the fast break and getting to the cup and possibilities of getting fouled. So, yeah, I like the PRA. I have no problem going straight back to that again. I think that's a good play.
I was actually 1% for the saucy 3, because we can do a saucy 3 now. We'll have like 2 par 3s and then a saucy 3.
Sure. Yeah, I can get down with that. So you want to do Amon PRA in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, what else are you guys looking at in this one? Did you guys have any read on, like, we talked a little bit about Jimmy, but do we props? Any props in particular?
I like Jimmy a lot. I like Jimmy's PRA. I also like his RA, 12.5. I like both of those lines. Again, it's game 7. He almost had a triple-double last game. So I think maybe we see that again in this game, doing a little bit of everything, having to do a little bit of everything. I like the PRA the best, I think, 37.5. The points is now up to 23.5, which is where it should have been 2 or 3 games ago. The 21.5 line, which I thought was a little bit of a joke. He scored 27 points last game. He's going to get to the line. He's going to get the ball in his hands a lot when Steph's not shooting a bunch. So I don't know. No problem with the PRA. Didn't bet it. I like the RA too at 12.5. Prefer the same logic. But I don't know which one I would want to take individually if I was going to take one. But I do like Jimmy. I think he should have a good game.
Jimmy Buckets.
Jimmy Buckets, man. Playoff Jimmy, right?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, no knock on him. Like him and Steph were pretty good in that game. The Rockets were just better. So there was nothing that they did that I thought was the reason they lost. The Rockets, again, they just out-muscled them and they just out-maneuvered them.
I feel like it's also VORP. Like any guy that replaces a Rockets starter brings a lot into the game. And like you said, SPJ, we're seeing a lot of Quinton Post, who didn't look like an NBA player till the second half of the season. So when you're bringing in, when Jabari Smith Jr. and Tari Eason are your first guys off the bench, you're looking very pretty.
And 11 points from your starting lineup in the fourth quarter cannot happen again. No. It just can't happen again.
Steph barely shot, which I thought was very interesting too. They really pissed the game away in that fourth quarter. All right, guys. So what do we want to do then?
I think you just convinced me though, because I didn't like Jokic's body language, and I thought they were going to go down. Steph's body language I didn't like either, and I think they're going to go down. But Jokic responded. Do you think Curry does? Do we take Curry points to start?
I like his threes the best, to be fair.
Okay, let's go there.
You don't think he's going to hit 5 threes?
I'm down to go
there. Let's start there. Steph, 5?
Uh-huh. I can also get down with Jimmy points if you guys want to go that route. Or Jimmy assists, or Jimmy rebounds. We got to do Jimmy something.
Not to confuse things, just because you brought up Jimmy, it reminded me. What about Dylan? Dylan plays a little bit better at home. Benched last game. I kind of looked at the PR, has a very good hit rate at home, but with those minutes dwindling, and SPJ, we were texting about this, him getting benched in the second half of that game, that is definitely a worry, because Dylan Brooks, I don't know if he's that level of a player that if you bench him, that he's a big enough name or contractor starter that he automatically gets tossed right back to normal minutes.
He didn't bench him because he was in foul trouble. And it was not I don't think it was a decision that was a foregone conclusion. I think it was more game script versus
but that's what I mean. Like, do you think that Ime has soured on him? Because as I was watching the game, like you were saying, it was game script. He fouled. Then also the other guys were playing better. Like, do you think he's lost confidence in Dylan, or he'll go back? Because I like that PR, man.
I like it. I think it's a good play. I don't think that he's not going to play substantial minutes again. I just think that Ime, and this is why the Rockets team, from a betting perspective, is sometimes a little tough, because especially in this series, we've seen Ime roll with what's working best in the game. And I feel like every game has been a little different in what's working and what isn't working. And you see kind of that turn into the strategy for the rest of that specific game. Now that strategy could change into the next game, which has happened the last 3 or 4 games, but I don't think you can rely consistently on, and it doesn't mean that he's souring on players. He's got a lot of good players. And so in certain situations, and all of them do similar things, but they all have specific skills and are different in some ways, even though they're all big and lengthy and good defenders. Like, they all bring something different to the table. And I think that he's using those chess pieces differently. And that makes it tough to know if it's like, I don't think he's soured on Jalen Green either. I know a lot of people are kind of like, what's going on with Jalen Green? Like, I don't think it's that. I think it's just, they're trying to win the series. They're trying to win these games. And sometimes, if Jalen Green's not making step back threes and getting to the bucket and stuff like that, like, his ability at that particular point is not as strong, which is why he probably said to him, listen, if you're not making shots, you need to hit the glass. You need to.
But that's facilitate. A great point, SPJ, because he benched him late in the season, just one game. And that was enough that it was all over the timeline. And we're all talking about it. And it's exactly what you're saying. Your point is correct. He sent a message to Jay Green. Hey, if you're not hitting your step back threes, you have to bring something else to the table so I can leave you on the court.
Mm-hmm. And we might see that again today with Dylan Brooks, because I don't think he's not going to start him, and I think he will play him again. They need his energy, they need his fire, they need his passion on the court to combat Jimmy and combat some of the veteran leadership that the Warriors have. So,
threes.
Like sometimes what the Dylan Brooks you got last game is not going to be the Dylan Brooks you get tonight, right? These are the situations, and I think Ime knows that better than most guys, and it's why, like, even Jalen Green, despite a bad shooting night the other night, he was kept out there because he was making big plays, and then he did hit that big three in the fourth quarter to kind of put it out of reach a little bit, you know?
That impressive block in the corner.
Exactly. He was running the break, he was rebounding the ball, and he wasn't taking bad shots. Yes, maybe he missed shots, but he wasn't taking bad shots or doing anything detrimental to the team. He was helping them. And I think that's also why Eason played more in that last game than you saw in game 5, right?
I also like Tari's RA. Tari's RA is speaking to me.
Yep.
So should we start building this part 3?
Yeah. We've already got Steph 5 threes. I feel like we should do something with Jimmy and something with Alperin. I feel like both of those guys should be.
It's a high line, but like he has been attacking the glass both on the offensive side and the defensive side. And I think that's a place you kind of have to put pressure on this team too. Second chance points is a place they've thrived in this series, and it could be the difference.
This is a sook line right there. And that's smacking John. I'm down for Alpe rebounds. 11, 10 over 10.5.
Okay. Points.
I was going to say Alpe assists, but I can get down with the rebounds.
But what is the assist line? Is it 5.5?
It's 4.5. Minus 146.
4.5 could be spicy.
I really like that 4.5
too.
All right, let's do that. Let's do him for the assists.
Chat, if you don't know, the scorekeepers, usually the home team gets a little bit more assists because they're a little bit more generous with that stat recording.
So then do we want to do 100%? Do we want to do Jimmy points or Jimmy boards? I like both. I don't care either way, to be honest.
I mean, you pitched the points last time and it hit.
Yeah, it's 23.5 now. Or is it 24.5?
24.5 is what I'm seeing.
I think let's go boards.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't like that.
You down with boards, Sauceman?
I am down for boards, yep.
7+ for Jimmy.
All right. Do you like Freddie's points?
Man.
Buddy?
Go down. No, Freddie.
Oh, I thought he said Buddy again. I was about to say.
I don't know, man. We've been waiting for the ticking time bomb of Fred VanVleet to return, and maybe tonight's that night. The 16.5 feels a little high, but I can get down with it if you guys like it.
What about Sook's favorite, Pat Spencer?
I don't have lines for him.
I'll tell you, I don't have lines for him either.
I'm sure. I mean, Dylan Brooks' line's 9.5
points.
Yeah, or Moody.
Amon's 13.5.
Yeah, Moody's 8.5.
I kind of like Amon a little better than Moody, I think.
Okay.
I think so.
At home. 13.5.
The points?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, V's doing the PRA and the other guy, so.
Do we not want to double down, or are we good?
That's fine. I mean, we're going to have to. It's only 2 games, so.
Yeah, okay.
You guys want to take Jalen Green for 15?
No. Nope. That's not on my book.
Sorry, let me just suffer on my own.
Sook just printed off his resignation letter. That's where he was for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I just got it in my email.
Wait, didn't he hit last game?
No, he did not.
Oh, he had 11. Yeah.
He hit his RA. He's hit his RA in 5 of the 6 games in this series. I do like that. Did we go? All right, we're going Amon then, 13.5.
Amon 13.5. So we got points, rebounds, assists, and now threes, boys.
Yep.
We have the threes. I meant like we've got it all now.
We've got it all. Yeah. Steph 5 threes, Sengun 5 assists, Jimmy 7 rebounds, Eamon Thompson 14 points, plus 790.
There we go.
That'll do. Good. Happy.
Happy Pappy.
So says Pappy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Before we cook our saucy 3, and then we'll get out of here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday and get excited for these games. Who do you guys think wins this game?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. Boys, V?
I want to say the Warriors, man. Yeah, I'm going to say the Warriors. I want to say it. I'm going to say it. It is what it is. Warriors.
Give me the Rockets, man.
Ooh.
It's the Rockets, bozos. First of all, Gerald, 2 of the 3 guys here just agreed with you, okay?
So singular bozo, in your opinion, then I guess. I like the Rockets. I think they proved it to me last game. I mean, I would not be shocked whatsoever if Jimmy and Steph had big games and the Warriors won. Like that would not surprise
the Rockets
me at
look
all.
like the better team.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Warriors laid their dick on the table this game and then lost the next series, fucking 4-1.
100%. They are banged up. I mean, Jimmy and Steph are definitely not playing at 100%.
It's not the diss you think it is, okay? Switzerland's great, especially at a time like this.
Indeed. Chat's pretty mixed on it too. So,
Yeah.
It's going to be fun regardless. It'll be a good game. It's going to be fun. All right, Saucy 3 time, and then let's get out of here. Sauce Man, you said Eamon RA or Eamon PRA.
PRA. Please, thank you.
Okay. Eamon Pra. Sook.
Oof.
Pat Spencer, points.
I wish we got that line. I kind of lean Mobley PRA because I already have it played straight while we were doing the show, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think some books have it pretty high, but I got it at 31.5, I think. Where is this? How do you guys feel about that?
It's not my favorite, but I know you like it, and I know that you're down with it, so I'll ride it with you.
No, I'm down. Yeah.
We don't have to.
No. We have so many plays. Like this, let's do this. Yeah. We overthought Moses Moody so much the other day.
Yeah, and he would have smacked us with these. Owen likes it.
Let's go.
So Mobley PRA 31.5. Down for that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys can choose. Either want to go Ty Jerome 16.5 PA or Steph 37.5 PRA.
I lean with the chef.
Yeah.
Okay. Game 7.
Now we've got his PRA and his 3, so that makes me feel good too.
Yep. 38.5. Went up.
Oh, that's spicy.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay, Ski.
Oh wow. All right, so Evan Mobley 31.5 PRA, Steph Curry 38.5 PRA. It's the PRA lie. Eamon Thompson 24.5 PRA. Plus 517.
It's a little pra.
Well, it's a pra. Sunday pra. Pra. Okay. Let's not overthink it. Bing pong. Plus 517. Not super spicy, but we already did we did those other 2 SGPs. So we've got a lot of different angles out there today. Love to see it.
Build it how you want to build it, Hooper.
Build it how you want to build it. Indeed. All right, real quick before we leave, boys. From the plums, who's going bananas? Lot of time. Who's going cray-cray?
Nemby 20 points.
Oh my God, Sook.
Sheesh. Okay, Nemby for 20.
In my head. And it's not as often. But yeah. Okay, I'll find something else. Nemby.
So, Nemby for 20.
I think I feel confident with Jimmy at 25. Is that a lotto enough?
That's a regular line.
Oh, his line's 24.5 now? Shoot.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't.
These are the moments. These are the moments, chat, where you realize that Vsauce listens to us like 75% of the show. The other 25%, he tunes us out and does not listen.
It's about 15% tuning out, and then 10% just falls out as the show progresses. Like I can't keep so much.
That's fair.
Wow, that's ballsy to tell your employer that your interest wanes as your job
Not
goes
interest.
on.
It's not interest. It's ADHD kicking my ass.
How it goes. So NIMBY for 20 is plus 700.
I think you take it down to 15 if you feel more comfortable.
Plus 190.
That feels like a good starting point.
Okay. How about Steph for 6 threes? You guys down for that?
Yeah.
I mean, or Fred for like 4 or 3.
We could do both.
I think 3's his line. Yeah, we could.
I lean Steph.
the other
I
one-
feel like he's sick of Fred shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Fred. I mean, he's been great, but
Tyrese RA. Yeah, we did talk about this today.
I'm gonna straight bet that. I like that. All right, Steph for 6 then. Plus 165. Do we do 7 for plus 320 or just not get too crazy? I feel like 6 is fine.
What's his 35 points? His 30 points plus 150.
If he scores 30, he's probably hitting 6 threes.
It's true. I just remember last game a few times when he was opening up his 3, he got in the paint, but I do agree. When Steph gets there, he gets there with 3s.
He took 16 threes last game.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to go out shooting regardless what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want to go Alpe's assists?
I was going to suggest Donovan Mitchell points ladder.
I can get down with that too.
How high do you have to take it for a lotto?
I think
30 is about like plus 159, so you could take it to 35.
We could do it to 30.
Just take 30.
Yeah.
Plus 170.
Beauty.
So these 3 legs of NIMBY 15 points, Mitchell 30 points, Steph for 6 threes is plus 1821. We could add Alpe assists in here, and then it would be that's kind of a nice little.
I'm down for that.
Or Jimmy assists.
Lean
6
out.
for Alpe will give us 1 from each team too.
Mm-hmm. And I'm on. I can't do 6 though. I got to do 7. I can switch books though. All right, so let me switch it here. So we go 10, 30 points for D Mitch, yeah. 15 for Mr. Nimby. I think it's gonna be better odds over here, anyways. Steph for 6 threes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Alpe for 6 assists. Rui 5 threes. Rui 5 threes and Cabo already cashed. Where's Alpe?
I hope he bounce backs, Bob, but tough to bet on him. When his 3's not falling and he's hesitating, it sucks.
Especially on the road. D Mitch 30, Nimby 15, Steph 6 threes, Alpe 6 assists, plus 32-43.
That feels very good.
That'll do.
That feels nice. That'll do, Donkey. That will do. All right, I'm locking it in. Bing bong.
What's up, Rod?
Great stuff. Great stuff, chat. Appreciate you guys. Great show, boys. Vibes are high. Yeah, I know, Ron. I'm sorry about your abs last night, man.
Oh,
no. Imagine being up 2-0 with like 10 minutes left in the third period and losing.
I know.
In regulation. Yeesh. Anywho.
And by that goal scorer.
Dude.
Shambles.
What do you think the players are thinking after that, right?
Apparently, Trent texted Fruity they were up 2-0 with like 12 minutes left, and he said, "Well, there goes the series done." And then Fruity obviously lost his mind.
Oh my god,
that's funny.
How about
I would be mad too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't talk to him for 24 hours.
At
least, yeah. Great stuff, chat. Thanks for stopping by for the All Sauce team today on the Betting News Network. Brought to you by our sponsors at BetOnline. I didn't say that earlier. Go get involved with betting the playoffs. Go get involved with betting so much more at BetOnline for free anywhere across the country. Go check it out with that QR code. We appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. It's going to be fun. We'll post the parlay. We'll post the Saucy 3 on the timeline. That's the only one you guys get. All the SGPs that we cooked in here just for you guys in the chat for hanging out with us. That's good stuff. Boys, you got anything else before we hop up on out of here?
Let's just have a fun little Sunday. 2 game 7s, 1 game 1. Sook doesn't want to hear, but a lot of baseball going on until we get those games started. It's going to be a fun Sunday, right? He didn't even flinch doing it. He didn't even flinch.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That's good stuff. That is great stuff. Soon enough, Sook, you're going to have to start betting on Vladdy bases. So get yourself ready for it.
Oh, man.
Sorry. It's going to be
I'm going to call the number.
It's going to be a great day in the NBA and the NHL playoffs. Enjoy your Sunday, guys. Get out there. Have fun. Bet responsibly, as always. See you guys tomorrow for Betspresso with me, V, and Shags. Get you guys ready to rock and roll into the new week. And have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the games tonight. You guys came for the winners and you stayed for the vibes. We'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, chat. Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Riding in the deep. Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about